Blind Willie McTell. Today I'm going to be doing a couple little trips for the channel to visit some sites associated with Blind Willie McTell. I just made my first stop, but I do have some more driving to do. But I'm going to go to Statesboro, where Blind Willie McTell lived, and of course the memories of living there would ultimately produce his most famous song, Statesboro Blues. And then towards the end of the day, I'm going to visit the Blind Willie McTell grave in Thomason, Georgia. And along the way, I'll say some things about Blind Willie McTell. And also, while I'm there, if I see anything else that might look of interest related to Blind Willie McTell or the blues, American music, I'll be sure to report on it as time permits. Blind Willie McTell. Hope you enjoy this video. Tell you what, I'm still about an hour from Statesboro, but I've been driving for 2 hours with nowhere to stop, and it's so nice to be away from urban sprawl. You don't like urban sprawl, and I don't either. You don't like a lot of traffic, which Atlanta definitely has. It's beautiful, relaxing drive until you need to stop, and so I stopped and got a coffee, but this is the only stop. But it's a very friendly community. People kind of hang out, and it looks like kind of a, but you're definitely not in Atlanta. And things are nice here. I mean, I have a nice vibe, but I've still got about an hour to go to get to Statesboro. But I just went in that little gas station, and there were people just kind of standing around talking. It was almost like the old general store vibe of yesteryear, only in a little gas station convenience place. I'm in my car, and I've been driving for about 3 hours, and I think I have found, yes indeed, the Blind Willie McTell Trail in Statesboro, Georgia. But I must say it's not very well marked. I drove around, there were some one-way streets and do not enter signs, and I finally hit this little park, and I believe this is it. Let's see what it looks like. I still can't confirm that this is the Blind Willie McTell Trail, but the GPS led me here. Oh my God, thank you for GPS. I was on country roads. You know, country roads are harder to drive on if you don't know where you are than city roads, even though they're relaxing in a way. But it led me here to Blind Willie McTell Trail. I have not yet found a marker, but it's a park, so I'm assuming this is it. I'll keep you posted. So we have confirmation, ladies and gentlemen. This is the one and only Blind Willie McTell Trail. And you can see, I thought maybe it went through a woods or something. Let's see if we can get a little, there it is. It's basically a little park. So I drove 3 hours. I'm gonna walk through the trail for an hour to get my daily walk, because I've been sitting in a car. And I think there's a marker or two with some historical markers. And I want to, Blind Willie lived in this city, so I came here first, and we'll see what we can find. There might not be all that much left, but I'll keep looking to see what we can find. Baseball field adjacent to the Blind Willie Trail. So when I make my videos, I usually like to intersperse a couple short guitar clips here and there, it is a guitar channel after all. They're usually about 30-second songs, so don't go away. But we're not done yet. We're just getting started. Blind Willie. Okay, we now have something a little more substantial. I was going to say I don't think they've overdone it, but we did find this nice historical marker here, Willie McTell Trail. I noticed they've, it's kind of funny, you know, those old-fashioned nicknames were maybe mildly politically incorrect, Blind Willie McTell, you know. But let me read it to you, see if I can. This trail commemorates Blind Willie McTell, 1903 to 1959. The great Georgia songster spent part of his boyhood in Statesboro and told the U.S. Library of Congress in 1940, "Statesboro is my real home." William Samuel McTell, blind from birth, became the most important Georgia bluesman on record. An outstanding 12-string guitarist, fluid tenor, and gifted songwriter, he recorded over 120 songs, mostly for major companies including Victor, Columbia, Decca, and Atlantic Records. He became one of the state's most widely beloved figures. More than a blues musician, he performed vaudeville, rags, pop, spirituals, and gospel music. He learned some songs from his mother, who lived and worked here and lies buried in Statesboro. As an adult, McTell returned to Statesboro often and entertained crowds at tobacco warehouses and the Jackal Hotel. I'll have to go see if I can find the Jackal Hotel. After his death, his Statesboro Blues, recorded in 1928, became a classic. I assume that refers to the Allman Brothers Band, Taj Mahal. So a bunch of people have done it. But of course, the one almost any rock fan will know is the Allman Brothers version with the classic Duane Allman solo. This 1-mile trail parallels part of the Savannah and Statesboro Railway line. It is believed that Willie and his mother once lived in a home southwest of the corner of the tracks and East Cherry Street. It may be this trail not only honors the artist, but retraces the footsteps of the boy and man. So there you go, an actual marker. A little bit of more information for us to go on here. The Jekyll Hotel. Maybe if there's anything left of that, I'll find it, even if it's no longer called that. And tobacco warehouses. But I thought it was kind of interesting. Blind Willie, it says he was an outstanding tenor. If you listen to his music, I'm not going to be playing any of his music. We'll see what's on the other side here. I'm not going to be playing any of his music. There it is. I'm not going to be, just for, I'm not going to play other people's music on this channel. Plus, I don't want any copyright issues. But you can listen to it. He's got a very kind of soft Georgia tenor voice. It almost sounds like a country voice. You could almost think it was maybe Hank Williams or Buck Owens or someone singing. Kind of interesting, in the African American community and what we call country, which I guess might be associated with the white South. They didn't have all those boundaries in a way. They had obviously more extreme boundaries back then of a very unfortunate kind. But musically, there was a lot of country music and gospel, and that all kind of bled together sometimes. I took a 1-mile walk. That's a fraction of what I usually walk, but I'll try to finish my walk later. But I did get a lead. I talked to somebody on the trail, and there is a Statesboro Welcoming Center, which hopefully will be open. They might be able to give me more information. And also a statue of Blind Willie at the Statesboro Welcoming Center. So we couldn't really come all this way to Statesboro and not see a statue of Blind Willie, since he's the reason we're here. So off we go. I will reconnect in a few. I'm putting on my seatbelt and watching the speed limit, because I've got these out-of-town plates, and this seems just like the kind of town where they might like to pull you over. So don't want any issues there. Thank goodness I'm not doing anything too bad. But all right, here we go to see if we can find the Blind Willie Welcome Center, or the Statesboro Welcome Center, and the statue of Blind Willie. We made it to Statesboro Welcoming Center. I should have come here first, but they seem pretty gone. But I'm going to turn over here. You can see my car. There's the Welcoming Center. And you see on that bench, that statue. Let's go up to it. That is Blind Willie McTell. And that's a 2018 statue by the sculptor Mark Moulton. We'll have to look at that, but it's a beautiful statue. I'm going to take some stills of it. There's Blind Willie's playing his signature 12-string. Lead Belly was another one who played 12-string. I think it carried better. If you're a guitarist, you know 12 strings are great. They're limited in some ways, but there's nothing that sounds quite like them. And I think if you listen to those old recordings, you hear that great kind of full, kind of jangly 12 string, which is really cool with that kind of country blues he played. Now at the foot of the statue, we have a nice little inscription. Let's see if I can read it and you can see it at the same time. William Samuel Blind Willie McTell, May 5th, 1898 to August 19th, 1959. The great blues musician grew up and learned to play guitar in Statesboro. One of his most famous songs, Statesboro Blues, was designated a classic of blues recording by the Blues Hall of Fame. As an artist, he inspired many others, including the Allman Brothers, Taj Mahal, and Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan's got a great song called Blind Willie McTell. I think it's from the early 80s. This site represents the inaugural Blue Mile, recognition of Statesboro stars honoring local residents, contributors to art, music, science, education, and sports. Sculptor Mark Moulton, 2018. You might want to Google him. He looks like a good sculptor. Moulton. I wonder if he's a Georgia person but beautiful statue. Let's go around and the plastic arts. Get a good, I like that term, plastic arts. Not plastic as in the chemical product of plastic, but moldable, 3D. See, you can see his back there. Really good statue. Very cool. And look at that guitar. I think that's, looks like it's bronze. Let's see here. See the 12 string? Let's get in for that. There's Blind Willie McTell sitting on the bench in Statesboro, Georgia. You know, he played a lot in Atlanta. I'll have to do another trip to Atlanta sometime and see if there are any Blind Willie haunts. There's the Blues Club Blind Willies. I've actually played there quite often, or I used to several times. Let's get a shot of Blind Willie's shoes. I don't know anything about shoes, but they look like they're kind of cool shoes, and I bet the artist thought about that. That's a little detail. See the shoes? Blind Willie's shoes. Kind of cool cap. All right, off to the grave site. We're getting near to the Blind Willie McTell gravesite now, and I just wanted to, I stopped, I pulled over. It's not all that great a view. It's kind of hard to get a nice shot, and I might be on, I don't think I'm on private property. I'm on a road at the shoulder of a road, but just thought I'd give you this shot of cotton. King cotton. That's a big old cotton field. They're all over this area. There's a little close-up, you can see it. Cotton. One of the major crops of the South, of course, for years. Not so much anymore, but it's still around. And a lot of history to cotton, I guess we all can imagine. But it's beautiful in a way, isn't it, all the cotton? And this is the area Blind Willie was raised in, so I knew when he was little, I'm sure there was a lot of cotton around still. Okay, it's been a long drive, a long day, frankly, but we are there. We are at the Jones Grove Church on Happy Valley Road, and I can see Blind Willie's grave from here. I'm going to go out there right now. Everybody, we are now on consecrated ground, Jones Grove Baptist Church. Pastor Reverend Robert Mixon. There's the church. There's the sign. There's the church. Just a classic little side by the side of the street. Kind of a humble church, but it looks friendly. Looks like it's still active. And over here, we're walking, is the churchyard. And you can see that big stone over there. Big one. That is the Blind Willie stone. Let's walk over to it. Kind of keep it in the view here. Yep, it's got a guitar on it. Happy Valley Road. Ooh, that sun is bright. I hope that doesn't affect the picture. Okay. Okay, here's the grave. Blues legend Blind Willie McTell, born William Samuel McTeer, May 5th, 1901, August 19th, 1959. I think there's some ambiguity about the dates he was born. But there we go. Man who wrote Statesboro Blues. And that kind of concludes our day. Let's go around. Blind Willie. Gone a fair amount of years now, 1959. I encourage you to listen to Blind Willie. I listened to him in the car, and I'd heard the songs other people have done by him. He is a country blues artist, and like I said at an earlier stop, there's a country flavor to it. You could almost think it was Hank Williams, but then you also hear that old kind of early 20th century blues in there. That's just that one-of-a-kind acoustic blues. So hats off to Blind Willie McTell, R.I.P. Hope you enjoyed this video. God bless you. God bless the soul of Blind Willie McTell. I believe he was a preacher in some of his incarnations. And here he is buried in the churchyard. Seems appropriate. Good night. Have a good evening. Okay, here's the grave. Blues legend Blind Willie McTell, born William Samuel McTeer, May 5th, 1901, August 19th, 1959. I think there's some ambiguity about the dates he was born. But there we go. Man who wrote Statesboro Blues. And that kind of concludes our day. Hats off to Blind Willie McTell, R.I.P. Hope you enjoyed this video. God bless you. God bless the soul of Blind Willie McTell. I believe he was a preacher in some of his incarnations. And here he is buried in the churchyard. Seems appropriate. Good night. Have a good evening.